This is a PBD lesson recapping reading skills and when to use them. By the end of this lesson, you will know the 3 distinct reading skills to use when looking at texts. You will understand which skill to use for particular types of exam tasks, and you will therefore be able to go forward as you work through the GCSE English course and select the best reading skill for the tasks that you are being set during that course. What you're going to see now is a short animation which takes you through the different reading skills and gives you some examples of when you might be using each of those particular skills. When faced with the text, it can sometimes feel like we're entering a deep, dark, tangled wood where we can't appreciate the individual features or see our way out to the light at the other side of that deep, dark wood. Even after reading the text, we can sometimes feel that we still haven't got the faintest idea of what that text is about, and that's when we need to employ 3 very distinct reading skills. Now, you may not be aware of it, but you already possess the reading skills you need for unlocking text and use them every time you read a text. It's just becoming aware of what those 3 skills are, and they are skimming, scanning and reading for meaning. Knowing that you already possess skimming, scanning and reading for meaning skills isn't enough to make them useful. You actually need to know when to employ each of those skills, and that really does depend on why you're reading the text and what you're having to do with that text. Whenever we read a text, the first thing we want to do is just get a general idea of what it's about on a very basic level, and that's when we need to employ the first of those skills. We need to employ our skim reading skills. When we skim read, we're speed reading. We're reading to get a quick general view of what that text is about without worrying about the detail. Skim reading is a really useful skill to use if you need to give a summary, because you can get a general idea of what it's about and tell someone else. At other times you may be reading a text to find particular details, so it could be key points or it could be specific quotes for an essay, and that's when you need to employ scanning skills. When we scan read a text, we don't read every word, we scan our eyes over it, looking just for the things that are relevant to us. We stop to read only the bits that are related to what we're looking for, so key quotes, that sort of thing. So when you need to find quotes for an essay, scan reading is the technique to use. It's the perfect one for that job. Now, as we know, texts work on many different levels, and there is always a deeper meaning than that presented on the surface, and that deeper meaning is the one you need to get to do well in GCSE English, and to do that you need to employ reading for meaning skills. Is when we close read a text. We look in detail at the specific techniques used by the writer, thinking about why they've used them and what effect they have on us as a reader. Although we all use skimming, scanning and reading for meaning skills every time we read a text, in terms of GCSE you need to match the skill that you employ to the task that you're being asked to do. So whenever you read a text, you'll use all 3, but to answer the exam questions you need to choose the most appropriate skill for the task that has been set. So, as you go through your GCSE English course, read the tasks very carefully. Work out which of those 3 reading skills you need to employ to complete that task effectively. Use your skills wisely and exam success will be yours. So, to conclude, there are 3 distinct reading skills. We use all 3 of those each time we read, although we're not always conscious of using them. Each individual skill can be employed effectively to answer particular types of exam questions, so we need to be aware of what we're being asked to do in the particular exam task so that we can work out which of those skills is going to be most useful to us. Skimming skills can be used to get a very general, superficial, surface level impression of what a text is about, and skimming is very useful if you're ever asked to write a summary of a text. We do, however, often use skimming skills in conjunction with scanning skills, and scanning is the skill we use when we're asked to focus on particular aspects of the text. So for example, if we're writing a summary, we might need to identify the key points, so we could skim read to get a general idea of what that text is about, and then we could scan that text looking for the key points that would then help us to write our summary. We would also use scanning if we're needing to find quotes for an essay, or we're needing to focus on a particular given aspect of a text, for example, a particular character, the way a character behaves. Reading for meaning is the third of the reading skills that we've looked at in this unit, and these are the skills that you employ when you're trying to get beneath that surface level, that superficial level of a text, when you're looking to explore the deeper, sometimes hidden meanings within a text. When you're reading for meaning, what you're doing is paying attention to the specific techniques used by the writer. So you're looking at the way the writer has crafted that piece of writing. What language choices have they made? What vocabulary choices? What structural choices have they made? And you're considering why they've made them. Why have they decided to write in that particular way? And you're evaluating the effect that their choices have on readers of that text. So how is a reader supposed to respond to that text given the techniques employed by the writer? Every single essay that you write throughout your GCSE course will require you to read for meaning. To get that level 5 that you need to be considered to have passed, you must read for meaning. You must go beyond surface interpretations, and you need to be identifying and commenting on specific techniques and their effects. And you will be asked to present your interpretations in essays that need to be made up as a series of linked PED paragraphs. Later in this section, there is a video lesson which introduces you to PED paragraphs, and when you come onto the assessment at the end of this section, the essay that you are required to write will need to be written as a series of linked PED paragraphs.